Hi, mamas. This is Kelci Jones.
Ah,
I'm here with Miss LaQuinta, and she is
yes,
a
girl.
boss mama. I am so excited to be here tonight with you, LaQuinta. This is so wonderful to connect. We
Hi.
met through a very powerful mentor that we share, and we are both just conscious co-creators trying to come together and really tell mamas all about what conscious parenting is and what we're doing and what we're all about. So
Yes.
without further ado, LaQuinta, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself and your family.
First and foremost, thank you so much for having me here. I am super honored. When you reached out to me, we just connect. You were like my soul sister. I was like, oh my God, she's the girl. I need clients like her.
Yes, love it.
So we connected from the beginning. And I was super excited that you reached out to me. Thank you again for having me on tonight. I really appreciate it. I'm honored to be here.
Excited.
So my name is LaQuinta, and I have a women's empowerment company. My company is called Whole Beauty Wellness, and I empower women. I inspire women. I help women achieve their goals, whatever that looks like for you. I love empowering women. I've always been super passionate about women just thriving and being great. So like when I see women that just want to improve certain areas in your life, I'm all in. I'm all in.
Yes.
So so I'll start by telling you guys my daughter, when Layla was born, we didn't have that I didn't have that connection with her. Like, you know how most parents, they like, oh my God, they're rubbing on their bellies, they're like super connected, like, oh, I can't wait to meet this baby. Like, that wasn't the case for me with Layla. Like, I had to really tune in and be intentional about loving on her and connecting with her, because it didn't come natural for me.
Mm-hmm.
So when I brought her home, I thought to myself, it's just you and I, baby. Like, we're gonna have to make this thing happen. Yeah. So I just started kissing on her and loving on her and being very intentional about being her mother and showing her that, because if I didn't make that decision there, who knows how she would be right now, because I didn't kiss on her and love on her. Right. But I was very intentional about how I wanted to show up for her and be her mom and love on her. And now, to be honest with you, every single morning, she's 4, I still love on her and kiss on her. And now it's natural. But sometimes that just don't come for most women. Sometimes you're connected with your baby, and then sometimes you're not. It just didn't come natural for me. I had to be intentional about creating that bond, because I wasn't, like, when she came out, I told them to give her to her dad. I was like, give her to her dad. Yeah. I'm sick, I didn't get that, like, oh, and crying on. No, give her to her dad. He's just as important as give her to her dad and let him love on her. So then once I was like, all of my emotions were gone, I was like, okay, I'm ready.
I'm ready.
So they brought her over. Yeah, I'm ready. So they brought her over to me, and like, I really had to like feel her. I had to like create that connection, because like I said, it wasn't natural for me. And that can happen for most women. Sometimes like pregnancies are not planned, and you don't have that natural connection.
Right.
So I just had to, that's where it started. It started in the hospital, where when she was born, I didn't have that connection. So I had to create that. I had to be very, and that's why I use a conscious creator.
Yes.
I had to create right.
Absolutely.
You got it.
And I love I love that you're honest and vulnerable enough to say, like, it wasn't there. It wasn't there. And there's nothing wrong with that. But so many moms experience that, and they struggle to just even say the words, like, it wasn't natural, right? It didn't come like instantly. And I love that you were so real and honest about it from the beginning. Like, I just wasn't there. And I knew
it
I
happened.
had to create that space. Yeah. Oh, I love that. And I love that you were like,
so that's what I did. So
that's amazing. And then, so from there, that's really where it all began. That's where your conscious parenthood journey began. I love it from the very beginning.
Yes, that's the start of the story. And like, she's 4 now. And when I say that, like, our bond is so strong, like every single morning I still do, from newborn, I will go in there and be intentional about kissing on her and loving on her and telling her, I love you and I'm proud of you. And, those things that we're not told. Some people are just not told us. We don't say those to our kids when they're little. So you have to be intentional about that. You have to tell them, you have to speak this to them.
Yes.
Because like, they're not going to hear it in the world. You have to do that. No one would tell them that they're great. No one would tell them that I'm proud of you. No one would tell them that, you know, you mean a lot to me. You mean the world to me. So like I created that. I had to be very intentional about that.
I love
You know, so yeah. Yeah.
And
So yeah, I
what is
loved
it
it.
that
It was crazy.
in the rest of your life, what has that like really done? Sorry to interrupt, but you know, from
No, you're good.
parenthood
You're good. You're kind of
all the way on, like how has that changed? Like not just your relationship with your daughter, but I'm sure even other relationships in your life, you kind of were called to say like, wow, this is really important. This is what I've got to do. And all my relationships show up to this level consciously and intentionally and love people consciously and intentionally.
okay. I'll give you another example. You ready for this one? This is a big one.
Yeah.
My boyfriend's family, it was really weird when I would go there for holidays and you would have to hug the entire family when you walk in. I was like, this is weird. Why do you have to hug everyone? Like, I just thought that it was weird. Like, we didn't hug. Like, my sister now, believe it or not, she'll see this. She'll, like, if you come for a hug, she's like, oh, don't touch me. Like,
Right.
we're not all touchy. But me loving on Layla and starting that, the beginning of that, it showed me that like this is the way you're supposed to love on people and hug on people.
Yeah.
You know, so that was the foundation of me loving on. Yeah. So now like it's natural for me to walk in their home and walk in to see his mother, his father, and all those and hug on everyone and, you know, and do that. But I just, we didn't grow up like that. We just didn't grow up like hugging on each other. We were like, bye, you know, see you later. Still to this day, when Patrick comes in, he greets me with a hug and a kiss. When he comes in, he greets Layla with a hug and a kiss. And it means a lot.
Yeah.
It means a lot. It means a lot. We say goodbye with a hug and a kiss. And like, it's important. It's important to us that we greet each other with love. And yeah, so from that little thing has birthed, like, you know, it's opened my eyes to other relationships where I need to show love and show compassion and greet, you know, with a hug. And that's not weird. It's really normal.
Right. It's totally normal. Affection's normal. Love is normal. I love that. And it's so true. Like so many people grow up in this.
Yeah, I thought it was so weird.
And you're like, whoa, like coming in hot with all the love and the affection. But that's amazing that she's been the window of your life.
Yeah. Even with my clients now, like, you know, you serve people all day. It's like you have that aha moment, or you have that moment you want to say, give me a hug, girl. So now like, it's not weird for me to tell one of my clients. Yeah. So it's not weird for me to tell one of my clients to give me a hug now. At first it was like, oh, what, should I go in for the hug or should I not? So now I just go in like, girl, give me a hug, you know, and it's okay. It's okay. It's okay to hug. It's okay to love. Yeah. So yeah, that's yeah. So I'm able to do it now in my other relationships, you know, even my sister now, you know, I'll tell her, give me a hug. I'll hug her goodbye. My mom, same thing. I hug my mom goodbye. I give my mom a hug. It's just like create that little thing and seeing the way this family is, it allowed me to love on my family too, you know, and it's normal. It's normal now because I do it.
Yeah. You've grown into it. You've grown into it. I love that.
It's a part of me. It's a part of me now.
Yeah. And you feel it's a part of Layla too, I imagine. Like you've seen how that's structured her life and her upbringing to be more loving and more nurturing and that that's a really beautiful thing to see as well.
Oh my goodness. Listen, if we didn't show love and compassion in our home the way we do, who knows, Lord knows how, I don't know how she would be, but Layla, like if you say, Layla, I'm proud of you, she's like, oh, thank you. Like she's just like, oh, she has that, oh, yeah. Oh. So because like, you know, she sees love around her, you know, so it creates that kind of compassion for, you know, for her.
Oh,
so yeah. It just spreads, you know, once you start, it's just a domino effect. People around you start doing it too. Yeah. So it's awesome.
I love it. So you've just grown in love.
Conscious
creators has helped you grow in love. I love that. And it's probably changed your relationship with your boyfriend, going from being like a not very affectionate person to a more affectionate person, not just with his family, but with him, you know, that's probably been powerful for the two of you as well.
Oh, let me tell you that right there, intentional, you know, like, because it didn't come natural for me in the beginning. Like I didn't know how to, like, you know, love and be submissive and, you know, and do like, I didn't know how to do that. So I had to start practicing it. and then become good at. Now I can like literally come up behind him and give him a hug, rub the back of his head. I thought it was weird when he would like kind of touch on me and stuff. That was weird in the beginning, but like, of course, like through practice, it's natural now, but that wasn't easy for me in the beginning. It wasn't, not at all.
So through being a conscious
not at all. But like I said,
you've learned that. You've learned to receive love. You've learned to accept and receive love and affection.
Mm-hmm.
That's so powerful.
And then super important for your relationship. You have to, that's his love language. The 5 love languages.
Yes,
that's his love language. Yes. The 5 love language. You have those love. Sometimes people just give love in different ways. So you have to meet them where they're at,
right.
and that's his love language. Yeah, for sure.
That's amazing. I love that. I love that you were willing to share that with us too. And what's one thing that you really want moms and women to take away from your program and programs like this that empower women and truly offer this message of conscious co-creation and being empowered as a female? Like what is your big takeaway? What's the one thing you have to say to women that you just need them to hear?
Okay, this is a big one. This is what I believe. I believe that sometimes we sit around and wait for life to happen for us. You have to go out and create life. Like you have to be the creator. God created us to be the creators of our lives. So you have to go out and make things happen for yourself. You got it?
Yeah.
Like it's not just going to happen. You're not going to wake up next week and you have to go out and create the life that you want. You got to create these relationships that you want. If you want to be a public speaker or you have to go out and do it. You just got to take massive action and go out and do it. It's not going to happen for you if you don't do it. Right. So my thing is God created us to be the creators of our lives. So you have to go out and create it.
Yes. Yeah. So beautiful, Quinta, and so true. And you've showed us already just in this little brief interview so much of what conscious parenting and intentional living can really do for a person, how it can transform not just their business or what they want, but their entire life and all of the relationships within it. So yeah, I love it. I love it.
You have to create it. You have to create it. I remember early on in our relationship, we had so many problems because I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, man, what am I doing wrong? Why are we not thriving? Like, why is my relationship so strained? First of all, the foundation of my relationship, we didn't have a solid foundation. We came into this trying to be parents, right? So we never built a solid foundation. So it was just rocky. It was just falling apart. So we had to like start all over and rebuild while we're parents, rebuilt that foundation, that solid foundation. And that was rough. Yeah. That was rough, right? Yeah. But I do know that I knew I had to do something. I couldn't just think that like, we do. Well, I'm a Christian. So we like, Lord, please just change this. Lord, please. No, you can pray all you want, but you got to start taking action. You know what I mean? God, listen, faith with no works is dead. You're going to have to start taking some action. Like you can believe all you want, but you got to start making it happen. You got to work.
Yes.
So yeah. So we had to start working on our relationship to make that relationship thrive because it wasn't doing, it was shaky,
right?
And now because we're like, even this morning, I'll give you an example. He'll kill me probably if he knows that I'm telling you this. This morning we had like a little disagreement about some silly stuff, and like sometimes your pride and your ego pops up and you're like, but I'm telling that, you need to listen to me. You know what? I texted him today. I said, you know what? Forgive me for the way I showed up today. I was like, I came at you wrong. Forgive me. And guess what he said? You know what? You forgive me too, because I could have did. So it's just really just saying sorry, knowing when you're wrong and fixing it. Don't go weeks and weeks and weeks with this stress on a relationship. It's not worth it. Because now you got to come home and be mad. You know what I mean? Now when we're mad, Layla can feel that energy. Right. She's mad now, so when we're not showing up with love and with compassion, that energy transfers to Layla. And now Layla is, maybe acting out or because she needs some attention. She sees like we're not getting along. So now it's affecting her in her life.
Yeah. And impacting her. I love it. Yeah, that mindfulness to just be intentional within relationships, just even in her space and in the general space around her. And so much of the time we're just like in this robotic, like relationship, give, receive kind of mumbo jumbo and you get lost in it because like you said, you're like, no, listen to me, you know, and then it's like, no, listen to me. And
Yeah,
when you're able
I'm
to step
right.
back from that, yeah. And when he married you, did he know it was Mrs. Always Right? You know, that's what I have a mug downstairs that says that. Mrs. Right, Mrs. Always Right. And I used to like, you know, really, I always have to be right. I used to always have to maintain that, like, I'm right and I know what I know and I know a lot, right? And I'm sure you do too, but it's so incredible what's able to happen when you're really able to step aside and really humbly just say like, I could have done better, you know? I could have been more conscious in that moment. I love that you're just sharing that because the key to all of this is just being willing to be vulnerable, really say like, this is how you show up. It's not being perfect from the beginning. It's saying, I'm not perfect. I'm human and let me work on this with intention. And I love that that's what you're doing.
And really taking action on the areas where you need to grow.
Yeah.
You just can't, it's not gonna, you gotta take action on it.
Right.
You know, and I'll tell you this is another one. This is another good one. I used to tell Patrick, I used to say, hey, he used to tell me like, he's very smart, very wise guy, very smart, very intelligent. He used to give me all this information and I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't ready for it. So now I'm ready, right? I'm ready. He said, I told you that before. I told you that a year ago, but you didn't listen to me. And you know what I told him? Want to hear this? Super powerful. I said, forgive me for what I did not know. I said, forgive me. Forgive me for what I did not know.
Yeah.
Forgive me. I know better now. Now I can do better. Now I can show it better for us, for the family.
Right.
And then he left it alone. He doesn't beat me up about, I
just no longer like, I'm right, ha ha, I told you. It's like, oh, yeah, I am right. And I can like rest with that because you're able to just acknowledge it and say, yeah, look, I just didn't know. I didn't know any better.
I didn't know.
You talked about, being close with God and having a relationship with God. And in the Bible, like Jesus says, literally, like, forgive them for they know not what they do. And I love that because whether you're a believer or not, you
got it.
Conscious creator, you have to just be in the world and start to take people's behaviors, actions, and disservices to you a lot less personally. And you can start by really realizing like it's just unconscious behavior, right? The person that cuts you off or the person that, cuts in front of you in the grocery store line, forgive them. It's just this unconscious behavior. And so when you can be conscious in your life and forgive others where they're not conscious and recognize that, you just suddenly have all this peace. Like you said, you're like able to put down, the ropes. It's like not a battle anymore. It's just like we're together and we're I love that. And
we're not that understanding. No one's right. We're not trying to win. We're a team. We're working together. We're trying to move forward together. We're a team. We're not fighting. We're not pushing and pulling and tugging. We're going together. We're walking together. We're a team. And it just makes partners. You got it.
Yeah. And that's really conscious co-creator, the within that relationship. And that when you can do it as parents, all the better, because the environment you're creating within your home is going to impact your children, and the energy that you feel is going to impact how they feel and the energy they're feeling. So, absolutely, you're just spot on with all of this. And I love that you took the time tonight to just kind of give us a window into your life, into who you are and how you showed up and really like created this beautiful company for yourself and all of these really wonderful things just by being a conscious co-creator. It's a beautiful, wonderful thing. And I'm just really proud to know you, girl. I feel like you're my soul sister.
That's right. And I'll tell you, like, when you listen, people think that you're supposed to change everything overnight. Take one thing and work at it, and then build that block. And you're not going to be great at everything. They say start with one micro step, like that little bit of step, and it'll turn into macro. You got to start little and then get bigger and bigger and bigger. It's not going to happen overnight for you. Keep working on everything. If you have problems with relationships, with trusting people, work on trust. Start by just working on that. Just find those little bitty areas in your life where you need to improve, but you have to be aware of it or in order to improve. You can't improve with something you're not aware of.
Right.
So once that, because we have an intuition, right? We have an intuition. And when that pops up and it's telling you what you need to do, you have to listen.
Yeah. Don't just write it off as coincidence, right? Which is what so many of us do. Oh, yeah, that's weird coincidence. And it's like, no, we know there's no such thing. Maybe divine coincidence, but no such
That's
thing.
right.
Just a coincidence. So I love that, and like you said, just those tiny steps, who would have thought that 4 years ago, you just making the decision to consciously create this connection with your daughter that wasn't there, that you knew you wanted, would lead you all these years later to, owning your own business and empowering women to do the very same thing. So I just think it's a beautiful thing. And it's the perfect example of exactly what you're saying. You didn't start out with this intention to go, start this business and do all these things. You started with just an intention to be a good mom and to show up for your baby, and how you've grown and your relationship is so beautiful.
And let me tell you something. When you show up in a way where you have confidence and you take care of yourself, your being, it just teaches them how to create that generational cycle for their children, and then their children, and then their children. You know what I mean? You get that? Like, you have to start to create that. So Layla's going to grow up and she's going to teach her kids the same thing, hopefully. And then they're going to teach their kids. And it just starts that generational, you have to do it. You have to show up in a way where you're passing down good behaviors, good, it's just important. It's super important for you to show up in great for your children, for your child.
Yeah, because
that's my job.
Yeah, I love that. It's so true. Yeah. So true. And if not us, like you said earlier, who will? Who is going to show up for her in that way if not you, and if not her father? So no one better in the world than mom and dad. And that's exactly why.
And another thing I want to talk about is, a lot of times people say that, like, I say this a lot in the African American community, so I'm just going to address it. Like, people boast about being a single parent. I thought in the beginning that because like I told you, our relationship wasn't solid in the beginning. So I didn't know if I was going to be a single mom or not. But what I didn't do was I didn't run him away. I didn't run him away, and a lot of times men, they don't want to deal with you. The pain of dealing with you is bigger than the joy of dealing with their children. You get it?
Yeah.
So I made sure when we were going through our disagreements that I didn't take that away from Layla. You get what I'm saying? Because sometimes people use that. They use that as a weapon, taking the children away from their father. And a child need their dad. Like, if Layla didn't, she would not be who she is today if she didn't have her dad. She needs her dad. Children need, now if they don't want to be in their lives, I get it. But like, if you're pushing them away, if you're saying that you can't see your child and all that, that's not good for the child. You have to do what's best for the child. And they need their father. You know what I mean? So that's one thing I said when we were going through our thing. I never took Patrick away from Layla. I never took him away from her. It's like, that's his child too.
Right.
That's his child too. As a matter of fact, I made sure that I showed up in a way where I wasn't interfering with their relationship. Listen, she would be like, "Daddy, would you like to eat dinner with us?" I'm like, "Oh my goodness, why is she inviting him to dinner?" But
here she goes again.
But it was okay. It was for her. It was for her. And we needed to show Layla that we can still be co-parents when we were going through our little mess. We can still be great for her.
Right.
You know what I mean?
All the better.
Thank God it all worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank God it all worked out, and we're great now, But when I was going through that, I never pushed him away from her. She needs her father. She does. She needs her father. But there is some fathers that don't want to be there. I totally get that. But if they do want to be there, allow them to be a part of their child's life. They need the father. They do. So I just want to say that. I
agree completely. And, I think it's so important with conscious parenting that is mentioned, because coming from someone who's married and does have this healthy, happy relationship with my husband, I feel a lot of pressure sometimes to like almost hate my husband, and I just don't. And women are like always on like the man bashing train, and I'm like, I just don't. I don't hate my husband. I really, really love the man, and not only do I love him, but all of this is so important in his life too. And I love that you mentioned that and say that, because we as a society like pit parents either against each other, or we put them up on a pedestal and require them to be perfect. And Mike and I aren't perfect all the time, but we really love each other. And it sounds like you and Patrick are just the same, you know? It's not that you're perfect. It's not that you're claiming.
Oh, yeah.
It's just that you truly love each other, and you're going to continue to show up every day consciously as best you can, not only as parents, but as partners. And I think what you're really saying,
for sure.
and what I believe as well, is just that whole families are what it takes to heal the world. And it's not so much that whole family,
and guess what,
a mom and a dad, it's like a whole family, that energetic family, whatever it's compromised of, you know.
And guess what? If you guys didn't work out, God has something else in store for you. I totally believe that there's another man or another woman for him, but you guys are still the parents of that child. You still have to get along. You still have to be great for that child.
Right.
You have to be conscious parents for that. You're still the mom and he's still the dad.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You're still the mom and dad. You still have to be great for them. Even if you guys didn't work out, you still have to be conscious creators. You still have to show up in a way where you're thriving and you're getting along for your child. And that's what like I said, we wasn't always this happy. We made sure that Layla was the priority. We had to make sure that we were great for her. You know, and it's possible. You just got to be conscious of it. You know what I mean? It's possible. You can do it. You can do it.
And it all starts with that consciousness. And that awareness. Like you said, with the awareness, the rest comes, you know? And I just think it's beautiful. Like I said, I'm so grateful for your time tonight, LaQuinta. This has been so insightful and really, truly, like, I'm just so proud to know you and proud of the work you're doing too, because we need more people who have just come alive and who are showing up and really showing the world, like, this is conscious parenting. This is what it looks like, and this is why it's important to be a conscious co-creator. So thanks for sharing and, you know, being here with us tonight. I really appreciate it, and I'm just so grateful for you, girl. I really am.
Thank you for having me. I'm so honored. I really am. Thank you for doing this. I'm honored, and I hope to connect with you soon.
Okay, yes, sounds good. We'll do that. Okay. Bye. Talk soon. Thanks, LaQuinta. Girl, you're awesome.